Hello, I'm a student at a university in the United States studying medicine and pursuing a research career. In this video, we'll be discussing how genomics is revolutionizing modern medicine. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Until the early 20th century, our understanding of genetics was relatively limited. They built upon the X-ray diffraction studies of Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. For example, genomics allows us to compare the genomes of different individuals to identify genetic variations associated with certain diseases. Precision medicine, also known as personalized medicine, is an approach to healthcare that takes into account an individual's unique genetic makeup when developing treatment plans. By understanding a patient's genetic profile, doctors can tailor treatment plans that are more effective and have fewer side effects. Our bodies are home to trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes that make up our microbiome. The microbiome plays an important role in our health, and imbalances in the microbiome have been linked to a variety of diseases, including obesity, diabetes, and inflammatory bowel disease. By sequencing the genomes of microbes, researchers are gaining a better understanding of the role they play in our health, and are developing new ways to manipulate the microbiome to treat disease. For example, one company, Vedanta Biosciences, is developing a therapeutic for inflammatory bowel disease that involves transplanting fecal microbiota from healthy donors to patients with IBD. Another company, Seus Therapeutics, is developing a drug called VSL3, which is a mixture of 3 bacterial strains that has shown promise in treating recurrent Clostridium difficile infection. For example, genomics has allowed us to develop more targeted cancer treatments that take into account the specific genetic mutations driving a patient's tumor. From gene therapies to precision medicine, diagnostics, and microbiome research, the applications of genomics are vast and far-reaching. As genomic sequencing becomes cheaper and more accessible, we can expect to see even more groundbreaking discoveries in the years to come. The future of medicine is genomic, and the potential is truly limitless. This approach has led to the development of drugs like trastuzumab, which targets breast cancer cells that have a specific protein called HER2. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss any of my videos. And as always, feel free to drop any comments or questions you have down below. Similarly, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved several drugs that target specific genetic mutations in cancer cells. In fact, the FDA has even approved a test called the Oncotype DX breast cancer assay that uses gene expression analysis to help doctors determine the best course of treatment for breast cancer patients. By analyzing the expression levels of 21 genes in a tumor, the test can help predict whether a patient will benefit from chemotherapy. This type of testing is becoming increasingly common and is expected to play a major role in the future of healthcare. This has led to the development of genetic tests that can predict an individual's risk of developing a particular disease, such as cancer or Alzheimer's disease, by analyzing a patient's genome. Doctors can identify genetic variations that may be associated with certain diseases or conditions. This can help with early diagnosis and more effective treatment. For example, genetic testing is now routinely used to diagnose cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, and other inherited disorders. And it can even be used to predict the risk of developing certain cancers, such as breast cancer and ovarian cancer. There are many companies working on developing new diagnostic tools using genomic sequencing. One company, Guardant Health, has developed a blood test that can detect the presence of cancer cells by analyzing circulating tumor DNA. Another company, Color Genomics, offers a variety of genetic tests, including tests for hereditary cancer risk and for rare disorders. As genomic sequencing becomes cheaper and more accessible, we can expect to see even more innovative diagnostic tools developed. Or the risk of a couple having a baby with a genetic disorder. These 4 bases pair up with each other in a specific way with a pairing with T and C pairing with G. And by comparing the genomes of patients with similar diseases, we can start to understand the underlying molecular mechanisms and develop more targeted and effective treatments. Finally, genomics allows us to study the genomes of microbes like bacteria and viruses to better understand their role in human health and disease. Gene therapy is a treatment that aims to cure a disease by correcting the underlying genetic defect. In the past, gene therapy has been used to treat rare genetic disorders like severe combined immunodeficiency, or SCID, as well as spinal muscular atrophy. But now with advances in genomics, scientists are working on gene therapies for a wide range of diseases, including cancer and HIV/AIDS. One company, CRISPR Therapeutics, is developing a gene therapy for sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia using CRISPR-Cas9 technology, a revolutionary gene editing tool that allows scientists to precisely modify DNA sequences. Another company, Juno Therapeutics, is developing a gene therapy for cancer that involves modifying a patient's own immune cells to target and destroy cancer cells. While these therapies are still in clinical trials, they show great promise for treating some of the most devastating diseases known to man. For example, by sequencing the genome of SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19, scientists were able to track the spread of the virus around the world and identify mutations that make it more transmissible. This discovery allowed scientists to understand how genetic information is stored in DNA and transmitted during cell division and from parent to offspring. Most scientists believe that genetic traits were transmitted through something called blending inheritance, which basically means that genetic traits from parents blend together in their offspring, kind of like mixing blue and yellow paint together to get green. However, this idea was disproven when a scientist named Thomas Hunt Morgan showed that genetic traits are transmitted through discrete units called genes. This discovery marked the beginning of the field of genetics. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. To understand where genomics is taking us, it helps to first know where we started. But it wasn't until the completion of the Human Genome Project in 2003, which successfully mapped out all the genes in human DNA, that the true potential of genomics began to be realized. The ability to read and understand an entire genome opened up a world of possibilities for medical science. However, our understanding of genetics took off in the early 1950s with the discovery of the structure of DNA by James Watson and Francis Crick. In the following decades, researchers deciphered the genetic code, which describes how the sequence of DNA bases dictates the sequence of amino acids in proteins. So what exactly is genomics? It's the study of an organism's entire genome, including all of its genes and non-coding regions. Genomics also allows us to study the interactions between multiple genes and the environment to better understand the causes of complex diseases like diabetes or heart disease. As you can see, genomics has far-reaching applications in medicine and is revolutionizing the way we approach healthcare. So, how is genomics revolutionizing modern medicine? One of the most exciting applications of genomics in medicine is the development of gene therapies. Another area where genomics is making waves is in the development of precision medicine. Genomics is also transforming the field of diagnostics. Finally, genomics is helping us understand the role of microbes in human health and disease. Genomics has truly revolutionized the field of medicine and has the potential to transform the way we diagnose, treat, and prevent diseases. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like button and share it with your friends.